guys. As you can see, we're in X-Plane 12. We've got the IXEG 737-300. We're going to see if she can fly today from London Luton to Innsbruck, with a few minor exceptions in the cockpit that we'll have to adjust, i.e. as it's not compatible yet with the X-Plane 12. But you can put it into X-Plane 12. You just have to use an alternative flap solution and use a level change, which VNAV doesn't really follow that well in the IXEG. So we can get inside the cockpit and get ready to leave, and we'll be going for a flight level of 350. So here's the IXEG 737-700. We'll go in, see our preferences, etc. I haven't used this aircraft in such a long time. So we'll check the ground service, connect the ground power unit. Our fuel today on board that we are going to want is 7.5 tons. So I'll put 8.5 just to be on the safe side. Get that in instantly. So we can see zero fuel rate, so we'll randomise that. What's our tons? Gross weight 60 tons, that'll be fine, that'll be nice for us today. Okay, so let's start the aircraft up, ready to leave. First things first, we get the irises on, we'll shove them onto a line and then over onto nav. Window heats can come on. Get the packs, which are on as well, which are all set and checked. We're in for a flight level of 350. Okay, which is checked. Check the cabin altitude for 3.5, which is going to be 7.2. Okay, which is also set and checked. We're on ground, and elevation coming down into LOWI is around 1,900. Okay, which is checked. So position lights can go on, which are checked and set. Go to the FMC, you see the position already and set. So Echo, Golf, Golf, Whiskey, which is going to be set for us. We'll see if the left side's on. 226, we'll leave that there. So we'll plug that in. Wait for the overhead to come onto the line, they should flash once that's all done. So we go from Echo Golf Golf, Lima Oscar Whiskey India. Now some things are going to go up and down on this flight, so we just have to take it, play it by ear as we leave. So we're looking to leave out the Match 3 Yankee, departing now, runway 25, so 26, Match 1 Yankee. Go to our routing. We're taking the Quebec 295. Then we've got the Papa 44, which we'll put in after. So that's going to go to Brain. So we've got the Papa 44 now. We'll go direct to Dagger. From Dagger, the Mike 85. Okay, so maybe the nav needs to be updated. So IXEG. No, the IXEG isn't there either. DVR. Some waypoints aren't going to be here because I haven't updated the nav. So we've got Conan, that'll be there. Okay, from Conan we've then got Matug. Okay, Matug should go, this should be airline mode. Okay, then from Matug we've got Bombi. From Bombi we've got Whiskey Lima Delta. Babax. Then Manau. From Manau we've got Tulsi. And then the Tulsi 3 Alpha, Runway 26. Take the RNF. I don't think it's going to perform the RNF because I don't think it can, but I can change that on the way once we get a little bit closer. And the nav, so the nav, it should come in. If not, I can get it to be instant. There are some few adjustments to the aircraft I won't do compared to X-Plane 11. Okay, so activate that, activate the route. What I might probably do is probably put it to turnaround mode and then get the IRSs already aligned. So hopefully we've got the routing all there, which that's what happens. So we'll do that again. Everything else is all on, APU switched over, so the APU is on and running. All fuels on board, just need to re-put in the 350. Okay, land altitude is going to be 1009. And cabin is 72. Okay, we just all check to dual bleed, we'll switch off. Master caution, so let's go and do this quickly. Conan. Bombi. ref, which we'll need to put in manually. Okay, so we've got zero fuel weight of 52.3, 60.7 tons, which is correct. Elevator trim is going to be 3.7. We are leaving out today on fuel, which is going to be, we've got reserve 1 on the fuel. Sensor cost index is 42, and cruising altitude of 350. Cruise wind today at 3.5 is 286 at 6A. And deviation is going to be minus 51. So for full takeoff, we're going to go climb 2 after full takeoff. Perhaps 5, could put runway slope in everything, but haven't got top cap. 145, 147 and 154. So that's us today, 3.7 on the trim as well before we leave. Get the Q&H's as well before we do jet out. And I'll just make sure we have our weather all on as well. Scan the weather. Okay, some light showers. So hit Navigraph now, just check out the ATIS for us leaving on the departure. We have got today 2705 scatter 4004, 1008 in Columbus, and 1016. So we go for 1016, 1016, 1016, and 1016, which is checked. So that is us ready and set to go. Let's go up to 350. We're using level change as the aircraft isn't going to use VNAV. As we're not going to be able to switch over the buses, which means that the generator relay switches are going to have to stay in this position today. So flight director switches are all on, everything overhead, electric hydraulics are all set and checked, packs are going to go on, because for now all fuel pumps are set. Position light can go on, we get the anti-collision light, I'm just going to get ready to push back. That is pretty much us ready and set to go. .247 set, speeds 154. Okay, 154, which is also on. So that is us all set and ready to go, by the looks of it. Okay, there's a flight plan. See if the toga switch works. If it does, then it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Auto throttle can be armed. And we are now ready to leave. So let's see what better pushback does. Let's see if it works. Look at the side today.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
So it should be a nice morning leaving out on London Luton Airport. Fully set to go. Folks going to come through the wall.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
So let's get ready for engine start.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback and you may start engines.
Okay, so we'll go for engine number 1. It's going to be like a funky engine start here. So you can't switch over the generator relay switches for some reason or not, because obviously it isn't yet been optimised for X-Plane 12. Obviously this is the pay where X-Plane 11 just been running, so it's the same with the 727 and the 737-200. They both have the same issue, as they've been optimised. So they're coming on. Automatically take the start switch off as well. Take number 2 on there.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
As you can see, you can't switch over the gen buses, which isn't too bad in this case. It's still operational, so packs can go to auto, isolation will go to auto, bleed can go for no longer, bleed. Probes are both on and checked. The engine start switches can go to continuous, trim's going to be at 4.2. As well. Okay, so flaps 5 for the flaps, we need to put the alternate down. Going to roll that down to flaps 5. Okay, flaps 5, which is south. We'll come out on V now. We'll get out onto 400 feet as the aircraft is going to go into a steep bank off to the left, so that'll activate onto 400 feet. No VNAV, only LNAV today. Flaps 5 is set, it's a great RTO, everything else is all on. Taxi runway turn off lights, check to see the air working. Nice and smooth. Taxi lights work, anti-collision on that is really too responsive. Parking brakes released, let's power up now and get going. On this IXEG they're much better than Microsoft Flight Simulator wings. The textures, I'd say. Taxi on down now, off of Bravo, left onto Alpha. Then we depart out on runway 26. Lovely views on them wings. Textures on them wings are absolutely lovely. So we use level change when we come out, because the aircraft's going to have a hard time with VNAV. Generally relay switches are not going to switch over. Autopilot will work. Let's be realistic and compatible with the 737, yeah. So we'll go round back, taxi the runway. So XP realistic is on. But it's just acting up a little, see a little bit of rain hitting the windscreen. Over we go, strobes can now go on. Five, 4 feet 2. So we've got L now, we haven't got V now, we can do that in level change, just manually bug up. Yeah, slowly go right way down. So here we are now set really. Internet can come on. Toga, I'll see if the toga's going to work. Not too sure if that will. And the lights are all on and we are now ready to go. So it's powering up to 40%. And we'll see if Toga works. Gears are only lighting up because throttles are idle. So we've got some lovely wing cubes today. Now that makes its way into so we'll let VNAV do its thing. Takeoff's going to power up now to 250. Just have a look to put in discoms. VNAV profile. Then we'll go up to 350. I haven't put no autos in yet, just testing out the aircraft, seeing what it's like, seeing what it's about. There's the wall of the power, now the power on up. Lovely classic aircraft to go with. So 4,000 now. Now once it's 4,000, 5,000, switch over QNH, it's just already match, brain not through standard. And one reduced climb. Quick climb 2.
So we just had a little bit of luck there, as you can see. The general relay switches actually did switch over. So that means that we might have flaps. Not too sure. They haven't got flaps yet. The general relay switches have just gone over. See if they come out again. Hey BK, good morning my man. Hope you're doing well, mate. Yeah, no, that's no problem, pal. As long as you're doing okay, that's the main thing. I have, I did try and install the auto ortho, but when I put it into the custom scenery and then loaded up X-Plane 12, I don't know if it was just the Europe, but it kept saying that there was no scenery in there for some reason, so I don't know why it didn't work, but I looked online and it was saying that for some reason Europe has, there was like a bug with the Europe one, I'm not too sure, but it didn't work unfortunately, so yeah, we couldn't get it in. I did try and do it last week, but yeah, don't know, it installed all the files, put it all in as usual, but when loading it was given the warning like the old school warning X-Plane used to give you, saying you couldn't find the file. It's a bit of a headache. Bit of a headache indeed. But I hope you're well, pal. As you see, we've got the classic up in the air. A few minor exceptions on when on getting her up and ready to go. Apart from that, she's yeah, she's a dime. Country 14,000. Probably get up a little bit more quicker than that up on the climb. Max rate. So we'll see what happens there. That is going to be probably its max rate. Empty initial index perf N1. It's in climb 1 now, 80.9, activate climb 2, activate climb. We're already at 90.6 anyway, so I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. So yeah, we're probably up in normal climb power now if we're already at 90.6. It's passing 15,000. yeah, with the flashing screen, I know exactly what it is now. So it's not happening in X-Plane, but it only happens in Microsoft. It's because it's the graphics setting that's in the Windows, the GPU scheduling or the adaptive refresh rate. It's one of the two in the graphics setting. Because I've got that on, and that boosts the frames to, like, with everything ultra maxed out to the maximum, it boosts the frames to about between 75 to 85 FPS, and that's what's causing the flickering on OBS, because it doesn't do it when I'm recording, it doesn't do it when I'm flying the sim, like just without anything. It's only doing it in OBS and Streamlabs. If you turn that off, then that will resolve the problem. But because I haven't turned it off, that's why the screen is causing that flickering. Yeah, it is a bit of a pain though. I do agree with you, mate. So we're quite heavy today, just climbing around 1,000 feet per minute. I was actually quite happy to see that VNAV engaged. It's usually the gen relay switches don't switch over the buses when the engines have started, but for some reason today they did after takeoff, so they wouldn't switch over on the ground, but on takeoff they would. So not really too sure. It's because obviously it's not compatible yet with X-Plane 12, but I mean it is flyable, as you can see. It's definitely flyable. We're going to go for 350 on the climb. The time now 9:30, expected 11:20 in. Okay. Yeah, same here, mate. I'm glad it wasn't anything to do with like the GPU or anything. You know, the random crashes that we've been having on stream, it wasn't nothing to do with the graphics card or anything like the 4090. What's actually going on is, I think with the settings of the sim, because the CPU's overclocked at 5.2, the settings of the sim, along with when I was doing the streams and setting the output resolution to 1440, and on top of that, that 4090 is massive, and inside the PC case it's generating so much heat that I think with the heat and then everything else that's going on, it's causing the CPU to just shut off because of the overclock and then the excess heat. So I mean, it used to happen in X-Plane 11. I remember when I used to try and boost it up to like 5.3, but it'd only run for about half an hour and then I'd get the same sort of freeze. But because I haven't seen it for such a long time, I couldn't really recognise what the problem was at first. But yeah, it's rectified. It's because of the overclock, and that 4090 is just producing so much heat, and it's not even running, it's only running at about 63 degrees, but because there's just so much heat going on, I've had to take the side panel off for the PC just to allow the PC to sort of vent out a little, because even with the fans, there's 3, 6, 7, there's 7 fans, and you've got the 3 inside of the GPU, so there's 10 fans, and it's still not enough to circulate the air. Yeah, 102. Lovely aircraft though. So there's our top of climb, just over 40 miles away. So we're going to do a localizer down to 2.6, then we'll swoop around onto a left bank for runway 08. We'll see how it fares. So a little bit of light turbulence as we just pass 240. Yeah, I've got a liquid cooler, I've got a big radiator on top, I've got the Corsair, the H1150i. It's got like an RGB thing on the actual water cooler, like, that attaches to the CPU, but it's just because that CPU's maxed out all the time, like all cores of 5.2 all day every day, so it never fluctuates. And you got to remember that's been like that now for probably about coming on to 4 years. So everything was fine with the 1070 Ti in heat wise, but yeah, that 4090 is like double the size and thickness of that 1070 Ti, and it's just producing a lot of heat inside the case. Because that's a rectifier. I thought it was the RAM at first. Then I thought it was the graphics card, and it boils down to it's the CPU. It's just getting a little bit too hot. It's the heat that's being generated inside the PC. It's not actually the CPU getting hot. So with the side panel off though, everything's all right. Just don't touch the inside of the PC. So at least everything does work in the sim. Try and see the weather. See if weather radar turns on. Let's get the TCAS on as well, wherever she may be. I've flown this aircraft in such a long time. See if we can get any weather. Okay, so we've got some weather underneath us, so we can see what's going on. Yeah, before I put that 4090 in, I did take the fans off and gave them a good cleaning. But it's just not, it's just not doing it for some reason. So I think so really it needed a new PSU, but if I had an 850 watt, then I probably wouldn't have upgraded it, because that's what I thought it was. I thought it was a GPU underpowering. So with all of our weight, I don't think we're going to get up to 350. You can see all the weather down below us. Yeah, you know, you'd be surprised about the dust that gets trapped into the fans as well. Okay, so we've got our weather 050 at 7, varying between 020 and 110. So it will do the circle to land if we can get her in appropriately. Few at 2000, scout at 5. That doesn't. 5000, few at 2005. So we'll see what the visibility is like when we do get down there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the aircraft at 4270, which is barely climbing as it is. So we'll leave her for 280, and then we can speed up. 280, 7.2 on the climb, which we've got 7.2. And then we've got decimal 8 when we speed up to our cruise. So we'll let that just do what it's got to do and be all ready to go. Yeah, it's quite mad with the amount of dust that does accumulate, I know what you mean. Okay, so we're going to climb up to decimal 80 now. IXEG 737-300, it does work, it is workable. The only thing is your flaps are not going to work on the drop down here, as you can see. They're not going to work even if you drop them down. Nothing's going to happen. If I drop them down off the throttle, nothing's going to happen. As you see, no movement, no red light. The only way you're going to do it is opening up the alternative flaps, arming them, and then we'll drop them down exactly like that. And that's the only way that they are going to work. So in for the cruise now. 273 at 5.4. Currently at 103. So wind's coming around on a tailwind. .299, top of descent, 10.20, top of descent, snowing around 30 minutes. We're going to start the top of descent, should I say. You can see all of that horrible weather, which is just below us. I do like the 737-300, very rustic, classic aircraft. You know, next I'm going to test out the 727, some VOR navigation. I need to install the Seaver again. You know, I don't know if you'll get the stutteriness that the Seaver used to produce. You have to go and change it in X-Plane Maker, but we can still use VOR to VOR and do some proper navigation on the aircraft. That's not a problem. So I haven't got none of this set up, so you're not going to be able to see any of the charts. So we'll see how the weather fares for us on the way down, visibility wise, and then we can sort of progress from there. I think I was just very fortunate, BK, with this 9700K processor. When I got the PC, it was only it was a 9700K with a 1070 Ti. It came with 250 gig of SSD. I've upgraded that to a gig, and then I wanted an overclockable CPU, you see, so I could definitely raise up the CPU's base clock, you know, which is why I think it was so successful with X-Plane 11. Used to run it in 4K. But yeah, I don't know how, like they say, every chip is totally different. Had someone boasting some years ago about their CPU, and then when they went to overclock it, it wouldn't go up to 5.2. The CPU was better than mine. There's mine sitting at 5.2 quite happily. But yeah, I don't know how we've done it, BK, but yeah, she's definitely there. I mean, I only got the water cooler, say 2 years ago, just before, yeah, about 2 years ago. Coming up for 2 years, about a year and a half. So yeah, I haven't had it for too long, but things have taken a turn with the CPU since the graphics cards come into play. I've noticed as well, the PC has got a lot more hot on terms of heat since that graphics card has come in. So yeah, I've currently got the side panel off right now, because with it off, I know you shouldn't, because that's the whole point of having the air circulate to obviously get the heat out, but it's not doing it for some reason. So yeah, but that GPU is a very big old thing. You know, it weighs like 2.5 kilos. I was quite scared when I was installing it, because I didn't want to snap the chip because it's so heavy. You know, snap that and yeah, you're done for. So I've got my Bonzi, Toolsy. So distance to go. 3:59 and we start the descent at 2:65, so we'll be about 90 nautical miles. About 90 nautical miles from top of descent, 100 nautical miles practical. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the 4090, definitely. You know, it's improved performance dramatically, especially in Microsoft, but with that white flickering that's happening in Microsoft Flight Simulator, you know, I don't really want to turn off that. I'll tell you exactly what it is. So basically, what needs to be turned off, if we can get into the system, you need to turn the hardware accelerated GPU scheduling off. So that's what needs to be turned off in order to make the white flickers stop. As soon as you turn that off, because obviously it produces more frames, it does drastically reduce the performance from the settings that I've put in, so I don't really want to turn it off, to be honest, but I'm not, yeah, I don't know, it's a catch-22 one on that note. So we're only at 2.7, we could probably try and get up a little bit more. Fuel's 294A90, so 4890 on the fuel, 5924, 590, yeah. Okay. 251 top of descent, 1024. Oh, definitely, mate, definitely. I can imagine the PCs back in them days. You know, I can remember, what was it? You had Microsoft Flight Simulator, FS98. You can remember FS98? That was a good sim. Then you had FS2000, 2002, 2004. 2004 was good, but never had a good PC to run it. Always was victim of the stutters. So it was nice in Microsoft Flight Simulator upgrading the GPU to actually finally get a nice silky smooth sim. But yeah, it's quite a shame with the flickers. I thought it was the monitor because I got that G7 Samsung. And I thought it might have been something to do with that. But I'm hoping I can just fiddle around and sort it that way, instead of having to turn that off, because it's quite disappointing. I don't get it on the recordings, don't get it flying normally, it's just in OBS that it's doing it, because it's overproducing frames or something like that. So I did try to put I tried to limit the frames to 62 to try and stop that from overdoing, but I'm not sure if that will do the trick or not. So I'm just wondering where the train button is, because I've kind of forgotten. Yeah, I don't know where the train button is. Oh, here we go. There's weather. Yeah, I don't know where the terrain button is. I haven't flown this aircraft for so long that I don't even know where it's gone. So I've got the weather back up to normal tilt. Turn the VORs off for now. Actually, what we can do is we can get Rattenberg's VOR in. I'm sure that'll tell us how far away we are then. So for Rattenberg's VOR coming from Toolsy. Rattenberg NDB is 303. That's another thing that's a bit fiddly here. So 303 on the ADF. Now the ADF should come in at some point, I'm hoping. Oh yeah, no, the old school navigation. I think the old school navigation's amazing. Like VOR to VOR. You know, with the Airbus, I don't fly the Airbus that much because it's just literally hit one button, the aircraft's gone, and that's it, till we disconnect off. Then I'd say you've got the Boeings, like the normal 737s, 800 NGs, etc. They're sort of pre-manual / automatic to an extent, a bit more to do. And then at the top you've got the classics like the 727s, 732s, this 737-300 we could do some VOR to VOR in, but them three classics there, the 72s and the 732s, they are some really nice classic aircrafts. I mean, imagine the 707. Years ago when I had Flight Simulator 2004, I did have the 707 professional, but I didn't have a clue how to fly it. Back then I was pretty brain dead in that sort of sense of that sort of navigation. I can remember when I couldn't even set up the ILS, so there we go. That's how long away we've come from. I'm hoping to do a little test flight with the 727 because I want to do a bit of old school navigation. You know, it's just so rewarding when like calculating your top of descent, you know, getting the INS set up, even if you don't use the INS, VOR to VOR, watching it with the DME references on the charts, like that sort of stuff to me is what really interests me with the classics. It's much more rewarding than just hitting an autopilot and off we go, should I say. Oh jeez, that was cool, wasn't it? I see we've got the Fokker F-28s come out now. In due time we'll probably get it. That's probably the closest to sort of VOR navigation, apart from the Bay 146. Which I might take that out later on, the Bay 146, I haven't taken that out in a while. But yeah, the F-28 does look nice. I mean, I only saw them flying the 1000 series. I would like to fly the 3000 or the 4000 series. That'd be quite nice to have a go of. I like sort of the little short aircrafts. You know, they're nice to fly, but when you're trying to do a flare, like, you're gonna have to be really careful when pulling that nose back. So it's just a little bit of rocking going on in the cockpit. So we're going to leave Bombi, maybe 127 to the VOR, and then we're pretty much on point, ready to come into LOWI. So I'm not too sure. I'll see what the visibility's saying when we come down, if we'll do a 08 visual approach. It's a shame this aircraft doesn't really have any wing flex. Like, it's very solid. Because the wing textures and the engine textures are fantastic. The only other thing that don't work, I don't think none of the lights work on this 300. They do in replay, but I can't say that I can see them working as of yet. I'm going to get the aircraft prepared quite early in on the arrival, as I don't want to I've got to use the alternate flaps to get it down, so I'm going to open them up quite early because they're going to take a little while to drop. I mean, the 300 series can't do RNAV approaches, so it's pretty much going to be localizer and then vertical speed, or you could use LNAV and vertical speed to come down. So 280 ready for that right hand turn. Okay, 171, 2022. So 20 minutes we start our top of descent. Ready to come into LOWI. Take us up to decimal 8. So we're going to do decimal 77 and be right on the edge, just below our overspeed. Need to get back on the VATSIM flights too. plane would probably be quite nice to fly on VATS in, but it'd be a little bit too much. Especially as things ain't working properly for it. So there's our top of descent just coming into range. Yeah, that's very true, mate. That is very true. I'm hoping that Microsoft does bring some like good classic aircrafts, you know. There was a 737-200 being worked on for Microsoft, but then that went dead. I haven't heard anything really since. So let's just make sure this works. Okay, that does work. With the EGGW gauges, I mean, these ones are working to an extent. So yeah, they are all working as of yet. So yeah, I would say they are. The weather's working its magic. And drop the tilt down a little bit. Maybe just to see that'll switch around. So yeah, it seems to be working. It just hasn't been sort of integrated for X-Plane 12 yet, this aircraft. Because at first the gen relay switches wouldn't switch over. That is the first thing I noticed. The gen relay switches won't switch over on the ground from the APU, but I noticed today after takeoff, when I did give them a pull, they did actually they did switch over. So the only thing that doesn't work in this aircraft is the flap extension, which, like I said, you just have to arm the alternate flaps and drop them down. So for the arrival, depending on visibility, we'll see if we'll swing round for 08, but if not, we'll take the 2.6, but we'll get the aircraft configured very, very early, because we're going to be using vertical speed as well. So that's going to be something else to reckon with, should I say. The other thing I can't remember is I can't remember where the V speeds were for this. And that was another thing. I'm not sure if you can remember, BK. Because I can't remember. I'd have to have a look at one of the old, well, the V speed's already there, but for the landing speeds, I don't know, I'm going to have a look at an old video of the IXEG that used to do, because I don't have a clue where it is. I haven't used this plane in such a long time. I couldn't even remember, even if I was asked. So I'm going to have a look, go down onto some of the old videos and see how the hell I got them landing speeds in. So we'll have a look here on this Aer Lingus and see what happened. Probably have the speeds there, but I'm just you probably will have the speeds, I should imagine. Index, approach, so the speeds are all there. Okay, so how does it come out? 57.1 tons, give or take the fuel. Okay, Babak to be 3.6, probably about 3.4, something like that. It's probably about 0.6 off of that, so it'll probably leave us at about 50, just over 56 tons. So yeah, about 56 tons or so. Oh yeah, the engine gauges all work. Yeah, definitely. They're all working. The only thing that I haven't done is I haven't mapped a toga button. But yeah, all of the N1 gauges are working. The checklist on the glare shield, yeah, that's all there as well. So you can see that we've got after takeoff, descent, pressurization check, recall, auto brake, VREV which will be checked, approach briefing, altimeters for landing, cabin call, start switches, speed brakes, landing flaps, and then shutdown. So yeah, it does have the checklist there. Everything works just apart from the flaps. So yeah, it's all there, and yeah, working accordingly. You can see we're getting ready to go into LOWI now, with all this haze underneath us. So we're only at 28,000, so we're not too high, not too low. It's very heavy today coming out. A little bit of turbulence now as we come through. So there's our top of descent, just for Babaks. Just past the VOR for the Whisker Lima Delta. As you can see right there, there's our top of descent, 80 nautical miles to go. So it should be a nice arrival. The other thing that doesn't work is the XP Realistic. That's the other thing, that you can't really set a profile. I've got the, it might actually be the GeForce. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look at the GeForces. Okay, so let's turn these down a little bit. So that might stop us bouncing around when we're thing. Yeah, that should be a bit better. Yeah. Okay, so that should be right. So we're literally just skimming this top layer of cloud here. One for the legs, 270 down to 9005 above. For Toolsy, Rattenberg 9005. Put that for 9005. I want the aircraft to be there at that point. So if we have a look on plan. Okay, right, now let's have a look. Okay, so that's going to be the go around. So that's pretty straightforward. We use vertical speed when we come in. It's going to need that. No, just over 40 nautical miles an hour until we start the descent down. Shouldn't be too bad. When you're ready, BK, if you want to pull up the METARs. Oh, you're talking about this placard here. It's a little bit so steer. That's that placard. Yeah, there isn't really a placard. We've got the flap extensions. Now the flap extensions here are pretty much the same as the 800 right here for the flap extensions. Obviously we'd have 250 for 1 to 5, or 230 to 225. Flaps 10 for 210 max. That's standard on the 800. 195. I think flaps 15 is 190. And then 175 for flaps 25 through to 30, I think. But yeah, I mean the V-speeds are already there. I'm not sure if Top Cat, because I've got the takeoff performance for Top Cat, so I can do that with the 800 like I did the D-rate takeoffs. I'm not sure if Top Cat has the 300 in there, because it's got the 500, it's got the 757-200, sorry, which I used the other day when doing a flight. The 757 works fine, that's not a problem. It's just a shame with X-Plane, the scenery. That is just the biggest shame ever. The physics are there, but the scenery just isn't. Then it's like the reverse with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Physics ain't really there too much, but the scenery is just spot on. So there's Toolsy coming into view now. Yeah, I haven't been near X-Plane. I mean, I've had X-Plane 12 since it came out, but I've only really flown on it about 4 or 5 times, not even that. Oh mate, talking about the CPU dying, you know, this one, I don't know how long she's going to last. She's doing okay, but yeah, I'm not sure how she's going to last. I mean, I was looking at the 3900K CPU. I'd need a new motherboard, etc. I wouldn't bother buying it. You know, they're too expensive these days. The CPUs, all parts now are so much more expensive than they was back in the day. I mean, for a 13900KS, you're looking about nearly £900. You know, and that's just for the CPU alone. And you can get a motherboard, like an MSI motherboard, like to go with that, like a Z370 plus. You look at about 600-700 quid on that as well. And it's just so expensive, you know. 4090s are going like between £1,700 up, £1,600 up. You know, it's quite shocking. And I mean, we do it for a flight simulator. You know, if we was doing racing like Assetto Corsa or something like that, which I do got, I've got a G923 steering wheel and pedals and that for Assetto Corsa, which I haven't used in ages. I mean, to run on that, you can run 4K, even on a 1070 Ti. It's silky smooth, you know, no issues, no problems. You know, it's just such a shame that flight simulators are so demanding these days, and it costs so much to, you know, have a good system. I see some streamers, you know, and their systems are just crazy. So our top of descent's coming near. I'm going to bug down now to 9,005. So the aircraft won't descend no lower than 9,005. Thanks for the METARs BK, 080 at 10, varying between 040 and 120. So really and truthfully, it probably would be better to do the circle to land. We'll see if we can. Visibility is clear, so that's fine. Few at 2005, scan at 4005, few 6000 TCU, broken at 8. Temperature 21, dew point 15, 1019. Okay, so let's check the transition for lovely LOWI. So the approach was a localizer R, which is here, which is probably going to be the special one. So localizer Romeo. We're going to need to set the courses to 254. To capture the localizer, we're going to roll it down in vertical speed. Okay, 254, which is in. Localizer frequency is offset localizer, which is offset. You can have a look. And we've got 111.1. Okay, so let's get 111.1. 111.1, and we've got the rum NDB, which is 320. Okay, 320. Okay. Oops, don't know what happened there. Something went wrong. So, I don't know what happened there. Jesus. Something went wrong. Oh God. So something just went majorly wrong right now. Let's have a look over here. What was it? The gens. See, so the gens have just automatically switched off right now. I've probably lost the IRS as well. So as you can see, things can go wrong. Now the generator buses have switched off. See, now I've lost engine power as well. So that's not a good sign either. Either we've lost engine power or they're not responding. So I'm not really too sure what's just happened. So it looks like we're going to do a divert by the looks of it. Let's get an airport in. Let's try and see if we can get down to one of these. So we're going to have to start coming down now, 100%, and we're going to have to start coming down to get our speed up too, which is not very cool in this instance. So let's get the airport up. Is that the airport one? Okay, so the airport on the map isn't working because the TCAS failed. We'll see if we can get the gens back on, which should give us something. Okay, they've come back. Okay, oh no, I'm not sure VNAV will come in, so VNAV's in now. So you see what can happen. That was the gen buses that weren't working right there. You can see gen 1's off. So, mad things are going on right now in the aircraft. I think we'll take it down onto a level change of vertical speed. So, we'll just let the aircraft see what it's going to do right now. But, as you can see, the aircraft is still broke. Yeah, definitely not a good thing. Yeah, let me know how the new one goes, mate. Definitely. Let me know how the new one goes. So, the engines are back, as we can see. So they are in, I think they had the throttle block on. So let's just see what happens. There's vertical deviation coming back. We're in VNAV path, so it's just chasing the vertical deviation right now. So our vertical speed will lift up in a minute. But yeah, so it's always best actually, I'd say, to keep that APU on at all times. So your damper can go back on, that should help us out a little bit. Engine start switch to continuous so we don't lose. So not really too sure what happened. But that's why you keep the APU on, like I said at the start. Because I would have diverted the aircraft and got it down ASAP. So there's vertical deviation back now. We're in VNAV mode. Coming in, there's Toolsy and there's the start. Can't do an RNAV. So we're going to use vertical speed. Let's calculate exactly what we're going to have. So we've got 4.2 tons of fuel, 4.1, which is going to be about 0.2. What's the fuel burn? Okay, still dropping 2,000. Holding 267. Okay, we'll leave that for now. It's the speed saying 30240 for Rattenberg. So I'll wait till we pass Toolsy. So that's the good thing about this 300. The servos do disconnect, which means we can power the aircraft up. As you can see, to go back to 300, but if we increase speed, that means our vertical speeds are going to increase, as you can see, which means we're going to descend a lot faster. So I'll keep the throttles at idle as we have control. You can't do that in the 800 on Microsoft Flight Simulator, but yeah, few. That's all I can say as well, mate, is few. So we do have some sort of dome, service.com. Okay, let's get it down. 2 brakes arms. As we said before, on the descent, 4.1. Rambo's 4.1. So just leave everything as need be. Flaps 40, 142, plus 5. Shouldn't be too bad for us. So I'm going to let the aircraft do what it's got to do. I'm going to keep the weather off for now so we can actually see what we're doing. So we've got 2 set of lines here. One's our approach, and then one's going to be if we needed to do a go around. So yeah, if you want to fly the IXEG in next plane 12, just make sure that you've got the APU on at all times. That's the only way you're going to be able to fly this aircraft. I was quite shocked when the relays switched over just after takeoff, so that was something new. But hopefully it should work. We'll get it down on the ground nice and smooth. So 142 plus 5 is going to be 147, nice and hot. Max auto brake as a 300 doesn't like to stop. 252 set on both courses, and we get the descent. Pressurization, which is checked. Recall, we're going to have a master caution for the electric and fuel, which is also checked. Auto brake set, which is green light. V-revs, which are checked. 142, flaps 40, which will be plus 5, so 147 coming in nice and hot. Altimeters, which we did get from BK, which is going to be 1019. We're going to pass that by, say, by 10,000, I'd say. We'll take them over now, just so they're all done. So we've just got the light, because obviously the first officers and the captains isn't synced. 1019 3010. Yeah, 1019. Okay, so this is going to be a hot one. The landing cabin call, which we've done. Start switches are continuous, which is checked. Speed brakes are armed, and the gear down set 3 green for the flaps. So what I'm going to do now is, because we're going to be using the vertical speed, we've got 147 coming in, so that gives us around about just over 1,000 feet per minute. I'm going to bring this aircraft down 9,005, and we're going to be setting that to our minimums today, which is 1894. So we can't get 1894 in here, but we'll just set that to 999. That's a decision height. And then we'll set that down to 1894 on the descent. That should be us ready to go. We're going to start to descend at 19 nautical miles from the Oscar Echo Victor. So 28 nautical miles so far from the localizer. Localizer will be in, ready to capture, and then we'll set vertical speed down, ready to go. So 240 right now. We'll set that off 10,006. So vertical speed can stay in. We go down to our flaps up, so need to get these flaps up pretty quick. $1,000. So we're going to be using the we're going to be using the alternate flaps. So I need to get this aircraft set up pretty fast. Okay, I'll bring it down to 175. So we should see the flaps come on. There we go. They should start rolling. So see the flaps are opening now. Watching our speed has come over 200. Still 25 nautical miles, we need to be at 19. Perhaps 5's just coming in. We need the throttles to come in now. Power these up. Flaps 10, I'm going to drop the gear as well. get these down by 19 nautical miles. So I'm not going to let go of the flaps button because we do actually need to get that down. And vertical speed's about 1,000 feet, so 23 nautical miles, 4 nautical miles to go before we start the descent. Dropping down into flaps 40, hopefully we can get there in time. I'm not going to worry about the overspeed. Just need to make sure that we get the 40 in, otherwise we're going to be going in on a much higher flap set. So all the throttles off now. Flaps 30, 22 nautical miles to go. Just reaching in for flaps 40. So you can see how slow that alternate flap is. Okay, 3 nautical miles to go. That's all set and checked. The landing lights can all go on. Runway turn-off lights, which are all checked. Cabin has been advised, which is also set. Gears down 3 green, auto brake RTO, flaps 40 green light, 147 which we're going to come in for, which we want to hold. Okay, 147, let the autopilot handle that. Get the localizer in as well. We are lock. Okay, there's the localizer now. Could push the glide. I thought that was I actually thought for a second that that was us toast. Okay, so vertical speed now, let's drop that down to 1,000 feet per minute. That should do. Okay, 2,000 which is in, and the aircraft is now descending. Drop it down to 1,200. Can watch the speed now as we come down. So 18 should be 9,001. Okay, so just a little over now. Just increase. 2,500, which is checked. Established on a localizer. 17 DME, 8,700. Okay, so we're just 100 above profile. 16, 8,003. Load it up to 1,300 now. It should start coming back slowly but surely. 15 DME, we should be at 7,009. Okay, turn off the music. 15 DME, 7,009, just bang on the dot now. So we just leave that about 1,100. That should be fine for us. 14, 7,005. So landing checklist, gears down 3 green, flaps 40 green light, auto brake RTO, speed brake armed, which I did forget to set, that is my bad. Okay, speed brake which is armed. 13 DME, should be 7,001. Okay, just about 60 feet off, but it's 1,200, that should be fine. Twelve DME, we're looking 6,007. Localizer's offset as well. By the time we get around to about 3,000 feet, we will disconnect. So 12, 6,007, bang on. 6,003 for 11 DME. Okay, so about 40 feet above profile. Ten nautical miles, 5,009. So we're just around 40 feet above profile now, so not too bad. Gotta leave that, the aircraft's doing a good job. 955. Thanks for the meters, BK. Okay, 20 feet above profile. Hey dear me, 5001. Cabin is ready for the arrival. We have the runway in sight, which you can see is right here. So 5001 for 8 DME. Okay, pretty much bang on. 4007 for 7 nautical miles. And we're looking really around about 1100 on profile for our descent. So 47 for 7, so we're just slooping under now to 1100, which we checked. You see we're still with the glide slope, but we're just using the localizer. Okay, that's probably gonna send us up a little bit. 2500, which is checked. So 5 DME, 3009. Okay, so we've got the airport in sight. Let's do a little bit of manual flying. Okay, I have control of the aircraft. Just trying to get the trim up, because the nose is really pushing up quite a bit. Okay, I think we've got the throttle block on, which blocks the throttles from integrating. So this is going to be quite a touchy one. This is. So we're coming down about 1,000 feet. The glide slope looks alright. Puppies are still all white though. We are a little bit off on the localizer. Okay, one red on the puppies right now.
Minimum.
Continue. Let's try and get this aircraft down a little bit more. There's 2 red, 2 white. Need to burn off some speed. It's going to be very hot. Very, very hot. We might get a glide slope warning. I doubt it. We might, but we're not using the glide slope.
Glide slope.
Okay. We're only using the localizer. We're not using glide slope. So flying visually now on the puppies. Get some speed. 147, which is checked. 400 checked. Okay, getting down a little low.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. 200.
Past the houses, try not to blow the windows.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide 100. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. 40. 30. 20. 10.
There we go. Let's get them reversers out. Brakes on as well. Okay, and here we are, down in LOWI. The ground touchdown, that's a bit sketchy. That is. I haven't sorted that out yet. Oh yeah, down in LOWI, guys. Got landing replay as well, so we can check that out certainly. The nice thing about this aircraft, or about X-Plane, is you do a full left on the rudder control and you get a full left. In Microsoft you get a I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work all that good, to be honest. So let's get these flaps back in. It's one of these. Do we now taxi back up? Okay. And let's also, once we taxi off, then I'm going to retract all of the flaps. Hey, blue skies. Hello, mate. Hope you're well, pal. Yeah, I didn't think it was, because obviously I've got the throttle set with the reversers on Microsoft Flight Simulator. I kind of questioned myself when the reversers came on, and I was trying to make sure that I wasn't actually doing full throttle again. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that that wasn't really an issue. So I'm going to slow down quite a lot now. Just let the aircraft roll in. Right, there we go, just let it go onto an idle roll. Let's get these flaps back up. So that's the only way that you're going to get these flaps up, is by getting them up like that. As we go idle now, we'll just lift up all of the flaps, get them nice and retracted. Hey, hello mate. Hope you're well, pal. Thanks, BK. Yeah, everything considered, eh? Definitely. Definitely was something for the books. Right, we'll leave the flaps for a second, as they're not going to come down. They're going to take ages to come down. We could probably get them back up, but we'll just taxi to stand so you can see the alternative flaps. And then we'll clean up all of our lights. I don't think they're working, to be honest with you. We can certainly try and find out, because the aircraft will go a little bit wonky. There we go. Okay, so runway turn-offs can stay on, landings can all go off, strobes are off, we've got the APU already on. But yeah, we'll check out the landing replay. Everything will work on it, providing that it was all set coming in. And we can see what the landing was like as well on touchdown. But yeah, it was quite nice. There she is. The lovely 737-300. It's a shame about the scenery though for X-Plane. That's one thing that does let it down, but I can't complain. The physics are there. Once this plane does get integrated with X-Plane, then I'm sure this aircraft will be a dream to fly. There we'll go right in front of the Innsbruck sign. Great thing about X-Plane, it's got the replay. You don't have to worry about downloading a replay system or anything like that. It's literally straight, just click the replay and it's ready to go. Yeah, that's one good thing about it. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. Yeah, bang on, just about. Taxi lights are now, I'm not going to bother taking them off. Oh, definitely blue skies. Monarch's the one for me, mate. Monarch's the best classic for me. Flew on it quite a lot many years ago. The livery that I do love. An old Britannia as well, especially the 757 livery. Sitting on that, that's lovely to see. So here we are here. I'm not going to bother messing around with this aircraft now because it's pretty much broke completely. As you see, we've got overheats for the window heats. So we'll get into the replay system and we'll check that out and see what funky business happened on the way in. And we can see how hard the touchdown was too. Find out, let's see what's happened. I don't know what's going on there. The aircraft looks stupendously high. Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. That's a bit of a myth. That's going to keep us there, I think. I think I've just ruined it. Did I? I'll give it a second to load. Let's hope that this aircraft does actually go down on the ground. We can have a look at the replay a lot better. So I don't know why it's up like that for. It's a bit of a myth. But it's there, it's alright there. Yeah. So I think it's gone a little bit ski-whiff, to be honest. Is it going to work? Okay, so it is going to work. Sort of going into the ground a bit. We can check the arrival out. Okay, so enjoy the replay of what there is, guys. As you can see, the stabilisers are completely knackered. It was a sketchy landing. I'll give it that at best. So if you guys want to see the 727 come out to play, we can definitely take her out. I might jump in the Bay 146 in a little while. See, we're quite fast still, pitching down. For some reason the trim wasn't working. I was nearly full nose back when flaring. It's very, very different. So as you see, that's a replay mode, but it was very, very different compared to X-Plane 11. Remember the old physics. As you can see, we're up. Give you guys a bit of a wing view of the landing quick. If the reversers want to go back in. So I think we broke them as well. Thanks to all you guys for tuning in this afternoon for the arrival flight into LOWI. I might do a stream for Microsoft Flight Simulator in a little while, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, once it gets integrated, definitely it will fly a lot better. I mean, we tried our best, and we got her down in the end, just about. But yeah, BK, we will. It's a shame because this is a lovely aircraft, you know, and I'm surprised that IXEG, like, they haven't, well, X Aviation, they haven't got this aircraft done for X-Plane a lot more sooner than expected. But I'll be back on Microsoft Flight Simulator in a little while, so don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, if you want to see more, and the 727 coming out, and I'll see you in a little while when we get ready to take out maybe the Bay. So there's John F. Kennedy from yesterday's. So stay safe guys, and I will see you in a little while.